We're live and live and live. So Facebook Live, YouTube Live everywhere.
Yeah, live.
I don't like to watch the YouTube Live because they're going to say stupid shit.
Yeah, everyone says stupid shit.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Well, no, these guys will be nice, and Facebook is going to be nice.
I can barely read this. I have terrible eyes now. I used to have like 20/20 vision. I know.
Yeah, because it's like pretty far away. I'm gonna have to pull it closer. Well, okay. I'll ask some questions and then we'll pull it closer. So obviously Luke is in town here for the next few days. Wednesday night you fly back?
Yes, Wednesday night.
And what's the name of the city you live in England?
So I live in Essex, which is just outside of London. So
it's what, an 8-hour flight or so?
Yeah, 8 hours. Yeah.
You're gonna watch anything specific? You have any TV picked out or movies to watch? You want any advice?
Well, it's overnight, so I'm gonna try to go to sleep.
Oh, okay, that's smart.
I'm gonna try to go to sleep.
That's
I'm gonna get one meal in on the fly and go to sleep.
Yeah, I usually prepare so I have a method that I do. I'm not suggesting this for you, but I have a method for my going to sleep with an international flight.
Frank says real men have Yorkies. He's absolutely
you do.
Well, Jay Cutler does. Dustin
Yes,
does as well.
yes. Did you get a Yorkie because of Cutler?
No, I got mine before he did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Yorkies are my favorite dog. And my ex and I have he's half Yorkie, half Chihuahua.
Oh wow!
But he's way bigger than a Yorkie.
Really?
It doesn't look like
your guy. Yeah, I've seen your guy. So the one from before.
Yeah. So my guy now is just a little Yorkie. He's a little shit.
So my method for international flights is that I get on the plane and I start watching a movie. Right. Yeah. When the movie is over, the food's coming generally, and that is when I take a Xanax and do 2 vodkas. Yeah. And that basically puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
And I wake up right in time for the next meal, watch a movie, eat the meal, and then I'm done. It's very easy.
I think what did I watch on the way here? It was really good. I can't remember what I watched.
What was it about?
I can't even remember.
Jeez, it couldn't have been that good then.
No, it was really good, but I can't even remember what it was. I think it's something I've seen before. But I've got a couple of series saved on my laptop that I might watch.
Which one?
The Boys.
I haven't heard that one.
It's on Amazon Prime. It's one of my favorite comic books, and it's basically a world where superheroes exist, but they're all governed by a big corporation, and they're real and they're all owned by a corporation. They're all millionaires, but because they're such wealthy celebrities, they're not very nice guys.
Oh, the superheroes.
They're very shady. So there's a group of guys that get together, they call themselves the Boys, and when superheroes step out of line, they come in and sort them out.
Seems like a dangerous job to correcting superheroes.
Yeah.
Is that why that's the gist of the show?
Yeah, pretty much. But it's one of the best shows I've seen.
Really? I'll have to check it out. I'm not. You know what? You're not going to like this about me, but I gave up on comic book movies.
Oh, really? You did?
Totally.
Why?
I just don't. I'm just not into them. You know,
okay. Well, Ben's the same.
Really? He's not into them?
No, he's not into them.
I don't know why I'm not into them because I want to like them. I liked Wolverine, the original Wolverine movie.
I think some of them are good, but I think the reason why the Marvel universe is so good is 22 movies now, and they're all interconnected into one.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which is why it's so good. But no, that's never happened.
Iron Man, the first Iron Man I really liked too.
Yeah.
But I went and saw the Avengers, not Endgame. I wouldn't try that one. But the other Avengers. It got 99 Rotten Tomatoes. So I was like, dude, I have to go see this.
But you wouldn't have a clue what the fuck's going on because you haven't seen any of the movies.
Yeah, and that probably could have hurt.
Yeah, so because there's hours and hours and hours, there's 10 years of movies all going into one story, all connecting into this, it all finishes and connects in this one.
It's funny because I liked comic books, but I didn't. The movies have lost me.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why. I mean, they're getting a bit over the top now in terms of how connected they are. So I think it kind of alienates the audiences that haven't watched.
If you haven't seen the other one, you can't follow the story anymore. Well, the good thing for Marvel is that they're doing so well. So many people have seen it; it doesn't even matter, right?
But
I'm definitely out of the normal.
If you're not a big fan of superhero movies, you'll probably love The Boys.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out
because it's very violent, very adult.
I like that.
And it's kind of like a world where what would it be like if superheroes actually existed? So in the whole premise behind it is the corporation are trying to persuade the US government to get them in the military. So you imagine having superheroes in the army.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
I love Game of Thrones.
How about Westworld? Did you watch Westworld?
I watched the first season and it was really good, and then the second season I was just what's going on?
How about Breaking Bad?
I loved it.
Okay. Better Call Saul?
I haven't watched that. I'm not a very.
It's gotten good now.
I'm not a very big spin-off guy. I love Sons of Anarchy, but I haven't watched the Mayans.
No, me either.
I still think Game of Thrones is the best TV series ever made, but the final season was a bit.
Yeah, they rushed it. I mean, 100%. They rushed it. I mean, they decided for some odd reason to cut it off at that point, no matter what.
Well, I mean, I heard that HBO wanted to do it for 10 seasons. They wanted to do it for 10 seasons, and they wanted to do 10 episodes for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
And the writers was like, no, we want to do other things because they were offered a Star Wars movie and they wanted to do that.
Well, whatever the reason was, you could very easily tell that they were rushing. That they rushed through the last season. I mean, George R. R. Martin said that
I don't know if that's a joke or not. Have I watched Dexter? I think you're talking about the TV series.
Yes, I think you're talking about the TV series.
I have watched.
You have seen him up close and personal, haven't you?
I've watched a few episodes of Dexter, but when I go on Netflix and it has like 18 seasons, I'm like, I don't know if I can commit to this.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Dexter was good.
Yeah.
Not like Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad, but it was good. The other one that I had Eric watch recently, he's been loving, is Deadwood on HBO.
Yeah, that's something I've not watched. There's only about 3 seasons.
Yeah, unfortunately, they cut it off all of a sudden.
Well, they're doing a Deadwood movie.
Yes, they already did.
Oh, they did?
It came out on HBO.
Oh, okay, I thought they were doing a new one.
I watched yesterday on the car ride back from Tampa, I watched Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
That's good.
Yeah, I never watched it before.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino was inspired by that, so I thought I would give it a shot, and it was still good, even though it was.
So Quentin Tarantino's got a new movie out, hasn't he?
You haven't seen that yet, huh?
Once
Upon a Time in Hollywood.
But do you know what his next movie is?
What's that?
Star Trek.
Really?
He's desperate to do a Star Trek movie.
Have they contracted him to do that?
No, he said he's written the script and they're going to greenlight it. It's going to be an R-rated Star Trek movie.
Wow. Well, I feel like anything he wants to do at this point, people will greenlight anything.
Yeah.
He said, I want to do that. Done. Right? But this most recent movie was good.
I've not seen it yet. I mean, I've been here, haven't I? So I have the chance.
Yeah.
So,
You'll like it.
Yeah,
different than the other ones.
What did I see recently that's really good? I want to see Spider-Man. Oh, the new Lion King.
Did you see that?
Have you seen
No.
to see it?
No, I haven't. Darielle took them to see it, and she didn't love it, man.
I liked it. The opening scene, like the Circle of Life, was incredible. But then the rest of the movie was about.
It's all computer animated, computer like digitally done.
Yeah. But it's like you can't get the same like emotive faces that you can with animation,
right.
so it's not as
interesting. So let's talk about the Tampa Pro, because I'm sure that's what people are asking. I can't really read the comments from here, but let's talk about. Luke, you should do a Lion King inspired routine. That would be good.
Or just Circle of Life.
Yeah,
just come out with a baby. Actually, when my son was born, I stood on a chair and just went the Circle of Life. And then the midwife came in and was like, "You can't do that. You can't do that. Put your son down."
Really? That really happened?
It's my fucking boy.
So that really happened, huh?
Yeah, I picked up my son like this and did the Circle of Life for them, and I got told off.
That's funny.
I was like,
you know what I remember from Asher being born, and like it'll never escape me, is when he came out and they like wrapped him up and stuff, he was screaming, right? He was screaming, and the nurse was like a Jamaican lady. She's like, Asher's a screamer. He's a screamer. I remember thinking to myself, like, that really goes in my head over and over, he's a screamer. I'm like, oh, I hope he's not a screamer. Like, that sounds bad, right? So forever, I always remember, whenever I hear it, I hear the lady's voice say, he's a screamer.
I always find that when you hold a newborn baby, these are so fragile.
Yeah.
Midwives do not think they're fragile. Because when my daughter was born, they held her up by the legs like a fucking fish.
Yeah. And
they just dumped her on the blanket and they just rolled her up like a burrito. They just handed her to me.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh yeah,
they're just so rough with them.
Oh yeah, that was an experience we went to when Asher was born. His pediatrician threw him around like that, and I'm like, oh my god, like, and that's what he said. He said the babies are not as fragile as you think.
Yeah,
they're built to survive, to some degree or another. They don't want to so fragile, but yeah, I'm definitely not throwing them
Let's
around.
look at some of these questions.
All right, let's see what we got.
So, how did I feel I looked in the evening show? I thought I was better at the evening show. I got a couple of meals in. Between the prejudging and the show, I had a darker tan as well for the night show.
A lot of people said that actually. It's one of the things that I heard.
Yeah. I mean, I actually remember when I was backstage waiting for the prejudging, I was just pissing so much. I was like, I'm going flat. I could feel myself going flat, but it was a bit too late at that point to kind of fix it. And then I got Chris had me have some more sodium water. I got 2 meals in before the night show, and I just filled out. Had a darker tan, and I looked better. So.
What do you think? So people are asking over here, what will you do different for the Olympia compared to what you did for Tampa?
Well, we didn't really. Nothing was particular. Like it was nothing was really done the last week. We kind of just coasted in,
right?
Dropped some water. We didn't really carb up or anything. But Chris is like, for the Olympia, we'll go all in for that and make sure everything's perfect. So
you'll carb up.
Yeah, I didn't carb up really for Tampa.
Does it scare you to do? I mean, like. Anything like when you go big, right, or you do anything more dramatic, you can have a more dramatic result, but it can also fuck up.
Well, that's why
does it scare you?
It is, but Chris will be there for the whole week. I didn't see Chris until Thursday.
Yeah.
So at the Olympia, I'll be with Chris from Sunday. So I'll be there for a whole week. so he can see me every day. And he said to me himself, he said, when I see you, because it was the same with the Arnold, he saw me a week out.
Yeah.
And he knew what to do. As soon as he saw me, he was like, I know what to do now.
Right.
Because you can do a lot in 5-6 days.
Yes.
So I think with Chris, he'll see me on the Sunday and he'll know exactly where to go. And then I'll see him multiple times a day for 5-6 days in a row.
It seems like you're really set up to make a really dramatic change. You gained a lot of muscle. I mean, you gained a bunch of tissue.
Yeah.
Up into the Tampa Pro, and now if you come in 100% with that new tissue and drier and full, you're going to see a lot of stuff. People are going to be amazed at the difference.
Yes.
From March to September. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's going to be a big improvement again. Like I said with Tampa, I mean, looking at the pictures, I was quite flat. I think I was a lot harder than the picture showed, but because I was flat, I didn't quite have that pop. And my tan did need to be darker.
I remember seeing you at Flex's gym when you were posing at Flex's gym. Obviously, the lighting is different there and everything, but you were really grainy that day.
Yeah, but that's I think it's easy to see when you're grainy when you're really pale.
Yes, 100%.
Under really harsh light.
Yeah, it was. Well, the lighting in there is where you stand is pretty special to begin with. Yeah. And then you were pale, but you were pumped also and everything. Yeah. So it's hard to say, like, you can't look at that and go one way or another.
It's true. But Chris is adamant that this is going to be. Like the Olympia is the one where his exact words were going to go for broke.
Awesome.
So he knows where he has expectations of where he sees me landing.
Well, look, ultimately, this is the biggest opportunity of your career, not just because it's the Olympia, but because it's the Olympia being open. I mean, it is truly as open as it has been since I have been watching bodybuilding. So I started watching bodybuilding or being involved in the industry when Ronnie Coleman was winning, right?
Yes.
And Ronnie Coleman won up until 2007, right? That's when he lost, I believe, or 2006, and then he came back. Either way, when there was really no time where I expected him to lose other than when he had already lost, right? Yes. So I expected him to win, and then he ended up losing, and it got taken, of course, by Cutler. Yeah. And Cutler was such a huge favorite. There was this disappointment for him when Dexter won. It was like out of the blue. Nobody predicted it. Yeah. Obviously, Phil has had it for a long time, and I've never expected. We never come into one like Sean won, right?
Yeah.
But that was still like where there was real definitive, like it's going to be this guy or the other guy, and more than likely it's going to be Phil, and then there was a surprise. This time there are no expectations. There is no really favorite. I mean, people are talking about Dexter as the favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, Dexter's the only one that's ever won the Olympia before competing. So if anything, he would be the favorite based on the numbers. So this is a crazy, crazy opportunity for you to come in and be doing the Olympia at a time where there is no definitive favorite.
Absolutely. And one of the things I keep noticing here since I mentioned the carving up is everyone's like, don't carve up too much. Well, of course. It's not, the thing is, if you want to be nice and dry, if I was a bit fuller, I would have appeared harder because that's the muscle pushing against the skin a bit harder, and I would have looked a bit rounder and denser. But obviously I don't want to, the size thing isn't an issue for me.
Right.
But
that's one of the things. So Chris asked me, right? So I was sitting next to Chris, by the way, shout out to Louis Marco. I see him over there. So Chris asked me when I was sitting by him, he's like, how do you think he looks? And one of the things that I've always learned from being involved in the bodybuilding industry and being with Chris and Dave is you really can't say if somebody looks flat unless you see them both ways. So when like somebody says, oh, he looks flat, how the fuck would they know? Because you have to know this person's body. So like when he's asking me what I thought in terms of could you be harder or whatever, there's no way for me to tell him, hey, you could have been fuller because I don't know what that looks like. But for sure. And if you could push it a little further. God knows, Chris knows because that's his specialty.
Yeah. I mean, Chris has said he would have liked to see me a little bit fuller because I would have looked a bit harder.
Yeah.
But one of the things I knew I would have the edge on Dexter is to keep my midsection tight. Right. So I was like, Chris, I really don't want to eat anything on the day of the show if I really don't have to. So I was like, I want to eat as little as possible. And my waist was just like sucked right.
Yes.
And it helped.
That was a smart move though.
But then again, I did sacrifice a little bit of fullness for keeping the midsection tight. So
I can tell you for the Olympia, they're going to look for that.
Exactly. But I think if I'm a lot fuller the day before
and
I wake up fuller, then I don't have to eat as much on the day. But then again, with Chris, I have a whole week, so he'll see it.
Like you said, though, you could fill up on being done filling up come Friday,
yes.
and then you can coast in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's definitely a big thing. No, I think the waist thing was a very smart move because it definitely did you're heavier. You're probably 30 pounds heavier than Dexter at least.
Yeah.
But your waist was way tighter.
Yeah.
And they're going to be super sensitive about that at the Olympia.
Yeah, I know. This is one of the feedback. It was just for a big guy, you've got really tight waist, keep it tight.
Yes.
And I'm really adamant to keep it tight.
Yeah.
So I'm scared to eat anything on show day.
Well, the thing is, so one of the things, I don't know, do you do this? So Cutler told me, because obviously Cutler didn't have the smallest midsection, right? But he always kept it tight during transitions. When he walked out on stage, he was a master at keeping it tight.
Yeah.
And what he told me was that what he did as he was dieting, when he cooked his food, when he cleaned up the kitchen, as Chris was saying, he cleaned up the kitchen every meal, right? He would keep his abs tight and engaged. So when he's walking around with the pans, he's keeping his abs tight. When he's closing the doors, keeping his abs tight. So it's a conscious thing he's doing the entire prep. He's consciously doing it.
And this is one thing I've been doing, because I mean, you can see in a lot of that, both barrel series.
Yeah.
I always have a waist trainer on.
Yeah.
It doesn't make your waist smaller. But
it reminds you.
Just by having it on and you keep it tight, you have to keep it tight, because as soon as you relax, it becomes uncomfortable, and that reminds me to keep it tight. But it's more just like when you have a stomach full of food, it's really difficult to keep it tight.
Yeah.
Especially when you're posing for that long, because everyone doesn't realize your midsection is a muscle. If you're keeping it flexed and you're up on stage for 15 minutes,
it's tough.
It's really difficult, and people don't quite understand that.
There's a lot of guys that can't.
Yeah, I know.
That lose it, lose control of their
absolutely.
midsection.
So I mean, one of the other things, actually, so after the prejudging, I had 2 cups of rice and 3 whole eggs, and then about an hour before stage, I had about 6 rice cakes with jam and some salt, and that was probably about 90 to 100 grams of carbs,
right?
And it didn't blow me out at all. And I said that to Chris afterwards, and he just got his little notebook out and rice cakes and jam.
So your body was able to utilize
it. So it was like easy to digest. It didn't blow out my midsection, and it was enough carbs to get me a little bit fuller. So that's probably why I looked sharper and tighter in the night show, because I was a touch fuller. So there's a lot of time it's about finding the foods you need. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt, right? There's some foods that, like for me personally, that I may like, but it bloats me.
Yeah, I mean, there's no fucking way I'd have a burger and fries in between.
Yeah, it'll bloat you like crazy, right?
Because at the Arnold, in between the prejudging and the night show, I had 2 boxes of baby rice, 2 meals. I had 3 eggs with a box of baby rice and honey mixed in with peanut butter. I had that twice. It didn't bother my midsection at all. So it's
like pancakes. People always say pancakes with syrup. Dude, that'll blow me up.
Yeah, same. So I always stick with something rice-based. Rice-based with some sugars. So whether it's like baby rice, cream of rice, or rice cakes, or even like Rice Krispies or something.
Yeah.
Something that's really like carb dense but not voluminous.
Yeah.
So that's something we learned this weekend, which was good. But Chris is really confident he can. So he said he's given me some instructions. He was like, make sure your training is insane for the next 5 weeks, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And he told me and Ben, he was like, do a lot more rounds of posing after training. Like, so bring out some more detail. And then he said also, before you get to Vegas, make sure you're tanned already, because I'm very naturally pale.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start tanning.
Get a base tan.
Yeah. So these are just things that are absolutely in my control. So Chris controls the diet.
Right.
So if I can control how much more I pose, how good my training is, and how I'm doing the tanning, that's things I can control. And these are just the little final bits of polish that you need for the Olympia stage.
Yeah. Well, for posing is a fucking tough workout. Very, very hard. And there's no doubt, like, by contracting the muscle and holding it, you do, for one reason or another, bring out detail.
Yeah.
You do bring out detail.
Yeah. And I've also, one of my good friends in the UK, Owen, Owen Powell. He's a phenomenal classic bodybuilder. He's got an incredible physique. He's a master at posing. And I'm going to drive up to him next week, and he's going to help me out in my routine as well.
Cool.
I always think with bodybuilding is, like, a lot of bodybuilders are either very passionate about the posing and the presentation, or they're passionate about the training. Right. For me personally, to get amped up to practice my posing, I like that.
No, that sucks.
I hate it.
Yeah.
But it has to be done.
Oh yeah, because the presentation does make a big
100%.
difference. We were talking before about how the impression that judges get based on how you appear on stage. And I don't mean flexing the muscles, just like your general demeanor and energy gets picked up by the judges. And if you look confident in your presentation, in transitions, in the posing, you look fluid. It's almost like an internal, like, suggestion, like, this guy looks good, like he's got his shit together. It's like sweating. So like when a judge sees somebody sweating profusely, it shouldn't really make a difference. But for some reason, you see somebody start sweating, which obviously it would mean that you're holding water. But in the scheme of things, why would it make a difference? For whatever reason, the judge will see somebody sweating and they always get marked down.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's because I mean, you can see why, because it's that polish.
Yeah.
That polish and that presentation. You know, it's like if you start sweating, your condition starts getting worse, your tan starts running, you start fading,
right?
You'll get more.
100%. So I see a good question. Sean Price wants to know what made Aaron sign you to Redcon1. So
I don't know this either.
You don't know either? So I'll tell you. So a few things. So for one, Luke was working with a different company, and I had seen Luke online and stuff. I don't remember where I initially, I don't know if we had met before or what.
I think we've met briefly.
Yeah, maybe briefly. I mean, I did the podcast with you guys.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember if I put two and two together.
No.
So anyway, I had seen Luke, and he was at this other company, and I noticed that they weren't using him at all. It kind of reminded me of Dallas, because Dallas was with BSN, and BSN wasn't using him at all. I mean, literally wasn't doing any ads. They didn't do any video content with him. It was like literally they had this gem that wasn't being used. And I noticed something similar. You do have other similarities to Dallas in the fact that you're super strong.
Yep.
So you weren't utilized. I thought it seemed like you were a nice guy, smart, good personality. So I thought, man, what a shame that you weren't being utilized and nobody was seeing anything from you. So I reached out to you when you were still with that company and said, when you're done, let me know.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember.
Yeah, literally.
Because I remember actually, so after the company I was with before, they let me go, which is fine. And I was sat there with my girlfriend, and I was like, she was like, text Aaron. I was like, I can't. I just remember writing a text like, hey Aaron, I'm now not with the company. You told me to message you, so hello. And I typed it, just threw my phone down. I was like, he's not going to reply. He's going to think I'm a dick. And then you were like, cool, I'll give you a call tomorrow. And then it all kind of went from there.
And then it went from there. Yeah. And you were obviously friends with JP.
Yes.
I think that maybe that was the initial reasoning is JP was with Redcon and said like, you need to check out Luke or something like that. Maybe it wasn't gonna. That he thought, if I remember correctly, he thought that other company and you weren't going to work out before.
Yes.
Before it ended up not working out, right? So Luke has all the characteristics that I was looking for, and I also thought this is another big one is that he had tremendous potential as a bodybuilder. So that was something, obviously. I've been a fan of bodybuilding since I was 13 years old, and I think I have a really good knack for finding talent, spotting talent, not just in bodybuilding, but in personality. And I think I know what's cool.
Yeah.
So like, that's one. So when people say like, one of the reasons why is Redcon1 doing so well, I think I have a real good feeling of what's cool, even if I may not think it's cool personally.
Yeah.
Like if I see a trend or something, I usually can be like, that's cool. It's going to be a big deal. And most of the time I'm right. And with bodybuilding, obviously I love bodybuilding, and I've come from, being a fan for so many years.
Yeah.
So I saw Luke's physique in conjunction with all the other things and said, man, he's going to be really good. If I like him on a personal level, then this would be a great partnership.
Yep.
And so we reached out, we came to an agreement. I like how Luke negotiated, because he knew at the time he was not on a high point in his career. He was just trying to figure out how to do it. So we figured out something that worked for both of us. And Luke went about proving like what he was worth.
Yeah, well, I'm still doing that to this day. Yeah. It's like you gave me an opportunity that is in bodybuilding. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you've seen it time and time again when a lot of guys have this potential. They're given an opportunity and they squander it.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm not doing that. So anything that needs doing, anything that's going to help, anything that's going to help me, yourself, the company, anything, I want to do. I want to work. I want to be of value. And my trajectory this year has been I've been with Redcon nearly a year now.
Nearly a year, yeah.
And it's I can't even believe how quickly it's escalated.
Yeah.
So that kind of shows how much of a partnership really helps. Because I think a lot of people just assume I've got a great physique, just so pay me because I've got great muscles. It doesn't work like that.
No.
And I love it. I love every day of this. Being part of Redcon has changed my life.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, Luke is your career has followed the path of Redcon,
Yeah.
One of the things that I make sure we do with athletes, and this is something that a lot of companies, this is like advice for a supplement company or businesses in general, is when you hire a person, an influencer, an athlete, or somebody to help promote the brand or be part of the brand, you better be able to utilize them. So I feel like a lot of supplement companies get an athlete because they think it's going to help them, but then never figure out how to utilize the athlete.
Yeah.
So like, for example, let's say you have a budget of, hypothetically, you have a budget of $30,000 or let's say $10,000 to make it easy for anybody listening, $10,000, and you want to spend it on an influencer. So you get this influencer to help your company, but then you don't have any money to film them. You don't have any money to fly them anywhere. You don't have any money to be able to feed them and put them up anywhere when they do need to go somewhere. That is a disaster. So it's like, I remember talking to somebody who wanted it doesn't even matter at this point, Rami. So they wanted to hire Big Rami. He had this huge price tag, and they're trying to figure out how to make it work. And I was like, well, do you understand, like, flying Big Rami, if he needs business class or first class flight, because he's huge, and he needs to eat all this food, and he needs this. And if you're planning on doing 20 appearances a year with him, because that was the justification doing it, how much money is it going to cost in addition to paying him? And they're like, oh, shit. I never thought of that. I'm like, well, then he's not going to fly by himself. This guy needs a translator and helps. You have to fly somebody with him. Yeah. You need to have somebody to coordinate the events, to be at the events. You got to have a film crew, because you can't put all this money to somebody. They're like, oh shit, we can't afford him after all, because that's the things that you need to consider. So one of the great parts of working with us is that we make sure that you're featured, I want to utilize you to your fullest. And then as a benefit to an athlete, right, you get utilized and you get seen everywhere.
I mean, you just look at how much my social media popped up. Skyrocketed. All the content we put out has been really well received. Yes. I would imagine that's helping sales.
Of course.
I would hope so.
Of course. Everything helps. One of the things that we do that I think is important, and this is how I judge more than anything, like athletes and influencers, is spreading awareness. So that's why it's like important. Like when I always tell you, I like for you to wear the shirts and stuff, because it's an awareness thing. So for us, I don't think of like you or anybody as direct conversion. So no, you're doing great with commission and you're doing good on the site, but in reality, to me, that's so small compared to the total revenue that the company's bringing in. Yeah. But what you are doing is everybody's seeing the logo, they're seeing what you're a part of, and if they think you're cool, then hopefully they think that we're cool together.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
And that's and the flip, and it goes both directions. If they love Total War and they love the RTDs, and they see Luke wearing it, they're like, two cool people together. Yeah. RTDs are cool, Luke's cool, even better, right? Yeah. So that's kind of how we do it. So that's a very long explanation on why did we hire Luke. But I have very, very big hopes and honestly expectations for Luke, because I know what he is capable of. And we're talking about winning or coming second at the Tampa Pro and placing top 6 at the Olympia. I absolutely think that those things are going to that's going to happen. And
you haven't been wrong so far.
No, I haven't been wrong. I definitely I'm happy that we gave it a shot. We put things together, and I have a lot of faith. So if people ask me where will Luke end up, I tell everybody I'm the one. I'll hit the drums for you, because he doesn't want to say Mr. Olympia, but I absolutely tell everybody, oh, he's going to be Mr. Olympia for sure. Just a matter of time.
I think like the way things have been going and what people have been saying to me, I don't see why I can't win it within a few years.
Hell yeah.
I don't see why not?
Who would have thought you would have got Arnold, right? I remember one of the best lines that I liked that you said, and I've repeated this so much times, at the Arnold, where you when you won or you got third, right? Yeah. And you got your check, you're like, holy shit. You're like, I didn't even think about the money part. Yeah. No. So I liked that. I found that very like interesting that you went there with no expectations to win money. You weren't even thinking about money. You just did your best to go up there, and because you loved it and you were excited to be there, and you didn't even consider, because a lot of people obviously the money portion, like they're thinking about that, and maybe that's part of the motivation. But for you, that financial reward wasn't even in your sights. It's pretty cool, I like that. I thought that was like a cool thing where it's like shows what your reasons for doing it. You're not doing it for the money. You're doing it because you love it, and the money will come. And it did. That was actually seeing it actually happen.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year. So it's not over.
No, it's not over. If there was anybody to go up against, it's a hassle to be the great Dexter Jackson. How was it competing against Dexter standing up there? One of the cool parts of the show is they removed everybody in the last call. It was just you and him.
Yeah, that was very surreal.
I bet.
Like, because I didn't hear them call me.
Yeah.
They're like, Luke, where's Luke? And I was like, just kind of stood at the back, and they're like, you've got to call out of Dexter. I was like,
just you and him.
Just me and Dexter. They're like, yep. I was like, oh my. So I just walked up the stairs, and there's Dexter stood there, just like beelining.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those. It's got to be one of those surreal moments in life where it's just you and him. Because usually call outs.
Can I just point this out?
Yes.
Right. It says there, why does Luke play in disabled spots? You obviously haven't watched the fucking video, have you? Because I didn't park in the disabled spot. It was a joke in the video. I parked on the end of the. I had so many comments about this.
They didn't like that. Huh?
I parked on the end. So there's a whole row of disabled bays, and then
where's this?
In the shopping center.
Here.
No, at home. So
both.
there's a whole line of parking spots that are disabled.
Yeah.
And I parked on the end where they go to normal spots, and I made a joke saying, I parked in the disabled bay. I didn't park in a disabled bay. Go rewatch the video. So many people gave me shit for that. Of course I'm not going to park in a disabled bay.
It's because it's closer and he's not trying to burn excess calories.
Yeah, I just like there's like 12 disabled bays, and then they go to normal parking bays, and I parked in a normal bay.
Funny.
I tried to joke about it in the video that everyone thinks I'm a dick for parking in a disabled bay, which I wouldn't do.
Of course not. Of course not. You know, at the new building, so at the new Redcon1 office, they have, because it's a certain amount of like disabled versus the whole parking.
Yeah.
So our parking lot over there is huge. I think it's like 400 spaces or something. Yeah. So they have we have 10 disabled parking spots all in the front, and I was like, because obviously, how many disabled people are going to visit Redcon1 offices? Yeah. Maybe 1 or 2 at the most. 10. So the first 10 spots are all disabled. I was like, man. So
yeah, I mean, there's always like there's the supermarket opposite right by my house. There's the whole front of the store. There's about 12 disabled bays, and they're always completely empty. And I don't think I've ever seen 12 disabled people. I think if you're going to see that many disabled people put up in one go, they're probably going to be at a bus.
I would agree. You know? I would agree.
But anyway, I didn't park in the disabled bay.
Well, I think you've got that one settled now.
But there's some pretty good questions there. Let's answer a couple.
Okay, let's go.
So, it would be great to see you and Brian Shaw do something together.
We do need to get you and Brian.
I agree. We were actually talking about this the other day. We would.
What would you do though? The eating challenge you said.
Yeah, I'd like to. I think because I'm starving right now. I reckon right now I could beat him.
Yeah, right this minute.
Right this very minute.
I'll tell you what. You drank the beer pretty fast. I got a lot of shit for that. I got a lot of shit for that.
That was so funny.
Apparently, I had my pinky up while I was doing it.
Maybe
and I think
it's because you were with a British person and you were like, oh, pinky out.
I think I must have. I don't know.
Because that's how we drink tea.
I wasn't prepared for the carbonation part. You know, I'm a vodka guy. Yeah. I'm a vodka. I like to everybody's like, oh, it's obvious Aaron doesn't drink. And I'm like, oh, at least give me credit. Well, that's not true at all. Yeah. Let's see. We'll do 2 more questions and we'll call it a day so Luke can go eat. I don't want you losing any weight.
I don't want me to lose any weight.
What about the gyms in the UK? How do the gyms in the UK compared to the USA?
Gyms in the UK, for the most part, are better. Just from where I live.
More hardcore?
No, it's not that. I actually just think it's where I live in the UK. They're just, for some reason, there seems to be about 6 or 7 incredible gyms within about 40 minutes of my house.
Oh, wow.
And Muscleworks in Orpington, where I train. And there's another one, Crayford Weights and Fitness, which are all very close together. Those are 2 probably the best gyms in the country. And they're just, that's why I live in that part of the country.
Strictly for the gyms?
Yeah, strictly.
Wow,
for the gyms.
That's cool.
Yeah, so and I have it. I mean, a lot of the gyms I've been to in the US have either been really hardcore to the point where everything's broken, or they've been very health club kind of LA Fitness, and they're still very good. I haven't been to enough gyms in the States to make a comparison properly, but because the only place I've trained in Boca's and Flex's gym. And it's great. So I haven't been to any of the gyms in this area.
Have I ever brought you over to Trainer Space?
No.
Oh. Yeah, it's there are some good gyms for sure in America. You know, there's some really good ones.
Oh yeah, of course.
I obviously haven't been to Steve Weinberger's gym.
No, I mean, of course, I've heard of them. I've just never been.
Right. Yeah, you haven't had occasion to.
Because I mean, there's a lot of gyms I've been to expecting to be incredible, and I'm like, oh. And there's other gyms that I don't expect anything. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah. Because sometimes a gym doesn't have to have the best equipment. It just has a certain feel to it, and it's just, it makes
the energy of the gym for sure. Let me ask you about. I like this one question. The Olympia, going to Olympia. Who do you imagine yourself standing next to? Like when you're up there in your mind, right? You're imagining you being up there. Who do you think you compare best to, or who are you looking forward to standing next to the most?
I don't really think I think I'm quite different to everyone. Not saying I'm better or worse. I'm just different. I don't know. I honestly don't know until I get up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've stood next to a couple of them already. Obviously, at the Arnold. I've stood next to Dexter now.
You've stood next to all of them, I think, right?
I think so.
At the Arnold, you beat Ruley.
Yep.
And then William beat you. And Brandon was second. Yeah. So you're really, I mean, the people that they're talking about being the top guys is Brandon, Ruley, Dexter, of course, and William.
Yeah.
And then you. So I mean, you've kind of seen what they got already.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I think they compare to each other more than I compare to them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I honestly don't know. I've never even been to the Olympia, let alone competed there.
You've never been to the Olympia?
I've never even been to
Holy
Vegas.
shit!
I know. I've never even been to Vegas. So this whole thing
is
is
gonna be exciting.
This whole thing is going to be a whole new.
Yeah, you didn't come with me. Yeah, you didn't come with us last year.
No, I didn't. No. So
were you signed?
I was signed.
Just,
I think I didn't. I think it's. I can't. No, actually, I do remember. I think we didn't book it because you did mention it. And I thought it was my son's birthday that weekend. So
is it your son's birthday this weekend?
His birthday's actually on the Tuesday after. So
cool. You'll make it back.
So I'm going to fly home Monday. So
that's cool.
Get to be there for his birthday.
Good. Anything you want to address? Any questions before we shut this thing down?
No, I just want to kind of say thank you to everyone that's reached out and messaged me. You know, it was my birthday Saturday. A lot of people wishing me happy birthday, which is very nice.
Did you get your poster?
I did. It's amazing. Thank you.
Well, no, don't thank me. Thank
everyone.
Okay.
So everyone's been very nice. I've had lots of positive feedback from the show, and I know I can be a little better, which I will be in 5-6 weeks. But again, thanks everyone for obviously watching all the content we put out.
Yeah.
Because without those people, it'd be a bit of a waste of time.
Yes.
So, I just appreciate everyone, the good and the bad comments. It all gets listened to.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm glad we got a chance to do this, Luke.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we got a lot of people's questions answered.
Yes.
We didn't really plan this out very much. So next time we do something like this, I'll make sure to promote it and make sure everybody knows that we're doing it so we can get a bunch of good questions thought of in advance, questions from you guys. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and you will see Luke. Luke's actually here till Wednesday, flies home, and then full on Olympia prep till a week before. Or I don't know if you're coming here before and then go to Vegas, but we'll work it out.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.